Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Comedy Road. This is the podcast where a bunch of comedians talk about what it's like to be comedians in the comedy biz, about getting on the road, doing shows behind the scenes, getting booked, booking, writing, all that fun stuff. We're going to kick it off. I'm your host, Paul Roseberry. I'm joined by...
Lina Green. Thank you.
Jason Schuster.
Vinelli.
Your dad. I'm Lonnie Dangerous.
Already sensing the danger. So, guys, we've got a couple things to discuss in today's episode because four of us were on a show last night, actually two shows at Zissimo's in Baltimore, Maryland, upstairs in the Lou Room, which is a great comedy club. We did two shows at 8 and 10, sold them both out. And we're also visited by Mr. Vinelli, who just popped in this afternoon to Maryland from New York City.
Yes. I just want to say, I just came to visit you guys just so that we can all go for a beer. I got off the bus, went to bed at 2 in the morning. I woke up at 6:30 just so I can buy some tickets to come see you. And then I'm told there's a podcast. So they threw me on here. I don't know if I belong here, but I definitely enjoy these people, my LA buddies. In fact, we had a whole big group hug right before we started. Seriously, we did.
Wait, Vinny, as you say, you're not sure if you belong. Can you and Jason stand up for just a moment? Because I just want to confirm how much
that we both
how
belong.
much you belong. This was unplanned.
We actually did plan. You didn't tell them. We planned this for 6 months.
And the
Yeah.
boxers, too. You want to?
No.
Oh boy,
Oh,
that's the after episode.
Whoa.
That's the after pod.
Whoa.
So, guys, let's fill everybody in a little bit. Last night, the four of us are from Los Angeles. That's where we live. We're not from originally, but that's where we all live. Vinny lives in Canada.
Yes.
Now, we came in from Los Angeles to Baltimore to do a show on the road. Jason was having a family reunion.
We had a family reunion, and it's tomorrow. We are having.
All right. Correct. Yes, he's having it. But for the reason that they all came to town for the family reunion, that we knew was going to give us a big boost of ticket sales, and it worked. We sold 100 tickets.
We had two sold-out shows in Baltimore.
Yeah.
We also had a ton of family and friends, and some stragglers came in, too. I mean, you know what I mean?
We usually treat them a little nicer than stragglers,
Yeah,
but you know
yeah.
what? Yeah. Paying audience members.
Please let the stragglers in the club. Yes,
Fans of comedy. They didn't crawl out between a crack in the wall or from under a car or anything. But you know what? Yes, they were unexpected comedy fans. Impromptu comedy fans.
And we're grateful. We are grateful for that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go. It was a good time.
It was. And Vinny, so you did a set last night at the Gotham Comedy Club. You want to tell us about that?
Yeah, I was at Gotham, New York City. It was fun. It was an amazing show. We were actually in the room downstairs. It was totally packed, at least 100 people.
Nice.
We're talking.
You're showing us up a
every
little
seat.
bit. I got it.
Every seat was packed, including the bar stools. People were standing. Like another 34 was just standing. It was amazing.
Damn.
It was absolutely amazing. And when they laughed, it was a ruckus experience. It was like thunder.
Yeah.
All the comics had to wait in the hall because there was no room for us. But it was fun, and it was actually run by a man by the name of Stephen Rosenfield. Out of New York City, fantastic comedy teacher.
Now
That was my attorney once.
Rosen.
Yeah, Rosen. That's right.
You guys, speaking of like shaking the room, the lights are going out
Is it getting
because
darker?
we are just creating such a ruckus here at the pod as
Producer
well.
doesn't even care about it.
Doesn't
He
care.
just on
Doesn't
the
care.
phone.
He aborted ship.
He just
So,
doesn't give a shit.
One thing I want to clarify, as this episode is a lot about travel, because we've all traveled in this weekend for shows. Vinny, you got to New York City. You don't live in New York City.
No.
Where do you live?
I live in Toronto. I'm actually a teacher as well.
Okay.
So I finished the school session on the Thursday. Friday morning, I flew to New York City. That was yesterday morning. And, I went straight to the show. And then I decided, hey, I want to come see you guys because we're usually on opposite ends of the continent.
Yes.
So we're so close. I figured I got to come see you guys.
And
Not just that, we also write together
Yes.
on Zoom every 2 weeks. I mean, it's not like we just met each other yesterday. And if you did that, I would really be freaked out. But the fact that you showed up here, man, means a lot. We're so happy to have you.
Seeing him now in person than on the.
yeah, we all see each other on Zoom. That's how we all two-dimensionally know each other.
That's not the first time we.
I'm even
No,
more
but for the
lovable in
most part,
person, though.
that's our-
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm more lovable in person.
Very much so.
Your eyes are like,
Ooh.
Yeah, this is
Okay.
the first time
Here we
that
go.
a couple of that Paul and Lena are meeting Vinny
No.
in person. No, in
I've never
person.
met even Lonnie.
Wow,
I've never
all
met
the-
Lonnie. We did
Wow.
we did similar shows, but I never actually went on your show. Did you come to mine?
have,
In
yeah,
LA at the
yeah.
Ha Ha House? Oh, you were there? Never mind then. Let's just
How about
edit that out.
How about
Comedy show
that?
together in LA.
How about that?
All right, so Vinny, so you traveled from Toronto, Canada,
Yes.
to New York City
Yes.
to do a set, and then from New York City down to where we are right now in Baltimore, Maryland, to hang just for a few hours because we all see each other on Zoom, we connect on Zoom, we write together, which is kind of the most intimate thing when it comes
we do a
to
lot of talking.
yeah. But I mean, like we open up our minds to each other digitally through this little, flat screen laptop screen. And because we had the opportunity to actually meet live in person, this is the closest we'd get. Because we all live in LA, you live in Toronto.
Yeah.
Even though it's 3.5 hours, it's the closest chance we'd get to hang. Vinny made that. He made the trip
I'm so happy I did. I really am.
because you didn't want to see your family, right? That was.
This is not going to air, is it?
No, I'm
It's
teasing.
definitely going to
Vinny
air.
has said fantastic things about his family. Because
Vinny's got a family. Woo! Yeah.
in Toronto, he said he was going to get cigarettes. They had no idea. He's in Maryland by way of New York.
Yeah.
No, Vinny
We also got
loves
to
his
pick this
family
up
very
because I got to
much.
be back in New York. I gotta leave in like 2 hours. So
Well,
Yeah.
I just came to give you guys a hug, and I'm going back.
I will tell you, if you do want to stay here tonight, I do have my own family here that will take you in. And
How many comics have they taken in already?
We're
This
like,
A lot.
we're like
A lot.
my parents like a
lot.
comedy refuge. You know, we're like a comedy
The
compound.
Potts and
We
Schusters
take a
have
comedy-
That's
taken
where all
us
the
in.
comics go
Schusters
to become
taking
X-Men.
comedians
We stay
and
on
the Potts.
And the Potts family,
And the
my parents are
Potts.
divorced. The Potts family and the Schuster
Comedy
family
X-Men.
will gladly take in any
jokes.
comedians off.
we have all been adopted, and we are all very happy. And it's been a loving home and like
Loving.
such a great time. This is our first time, my first time in Baltimore.
Me too.
Your
Me
first
too,
time.
yeah.
Oh, your first time too?
Yeah, I've never been to
Oh, okay.
Baltimore.
Not that everyone wouldn't want to go to Baltimore.
Yeah.
Just to be clear, like
It's a lovely place.
Everyone's destination
We're saying how much
intent
fun.
to get to. It's almost a mecca, if you will. If you live in the United States, at some point you got to get to your roots
It's
in
beautiful.
Baltimore, Maryland, and we've all done it this time. There's
Sponsored by Liquid Death.
yes,
This is- No, seriously, I thought this was like gonna be a power drink.
Yeah.
It's just fucking water. Just be honest.
the Emperor's New
Could have
Water.
got this out of a sink. Seriously, let's
yes.
be honest.
Yes.
Let's not shit on the sponsors, guys.
It says mountain water.
Let's not,
Yeah.
Mountain.
Yeah.
let's not shit on the sponsors.
Artisan
Yeah.
water.
Okay, so
Lame. Liquid lame is what I like to call it. And you know what? If they can't handle a little fun, then don't sponsor us again.
What makes it death?
Come
I don't
on.
understand that part. What
Death,
makes it liquid
that's
death?
what happens to your money when you paid $7 for water.
dead that you robbed
That's
me.
all right, guys.
Hey, you want a beer? Yeah, me too. But we'll just have this water instead.
What's going on?
Guys,
What?
I mean, no, let them get into the
Pandemonium.
Let that lady speak already.
Shut the heck up. Guys, let's go back to what we were talking about, being on the road as comics.
Yeah, what does it have inside?
I think there's H
Well,
They're very
and there's
it's-
there's twice as much
the
H as O,
water.
I should say. All right, but hold on. Lena was making a point.
yeah. Let's get back to the topic at hand. So we're talking about being on the road as comics. Vinny did have a great story. He's been on the road. He did a lot of hours, right? A
few.
Yeah, a few.
Miles,
So
yeah.
a lot of miles, a lot of hours. So what stories do y'all have about being on the road? Is this your first? This is not your first rodeo.
It's my second road gig. My first one was a homecoming. I get to do my very first hour in February of this year. I flew to Portsmouth, New Hampshire, where I'm from, and did an hour back home. And it was nice because you've got the comfort of like familiar faces in the crowd. That's fun. But it was nice this time to take that next step where I don't know anybody. And it was, I'd still say it's intermediary because the first show was a lot of Jason's family. So there was a familiar vibe already.
warm.
Yeah, it was very warm. It wasn't just randos at a club that you've never been to. So I liked kind of the stepping one step at a time, going from like comfort to mid-range comfort.
Yeah.
And then the next show, we're going to have to book something in a place where we've never been and we don't know anybody. It's going to be time to get all the way in the deep end.
That's pushing it for you. Like
That's
no
pushing it.
face. And
Yeah.
The show we did last night did have a lot more.
I thought
Yes.
it was that you didn't
Yeah.
I didn't know a lot of people in the
Yeah.
crowd, actually.
I
It was really
agree.
cool. It was a lot
I
of-
agree.
And we're younger
And
people.
the
A
word
lot
spread
of.
a lot in Baltimore about these shows, and
Yeah.
it was cool. And it was a heck of a time. And to put this whole thing together and to come on the road here in Baltimore with
Talk about that because that's a process. Like
that is a
That was work.
That is a process. From LA to get to Baltimore to produce a show, having to find somebody who could headline, which was Paul, for me to feature, and then to bring comedians to be on the road with us that we knew we vibe with. That all comes in the territory of having like a tribe that you roll with in comedy, and I'm grateful for this group because we all stick together and we work together and we go through our struggles together and we discuss our wins and our losses, but to culminate that and do 2 shows here in Baltimore in front of a hometown crowd was a real high for us. And we had a killer show last night, and it was fun, man. We had a great time, and just grateful for the opportunity and for Baltimore to allow us to come and welcome us. Yeah, so.
Way to show up, Baltimore.
it shows how important community is, especially when you're doing something like stand up, especially when you're new. A few of us are newer in this game, I guess you could say. So it shows like how important community is, and when you find a tribe that you vibe with, I guess.
A vibe that you tribe, a tribe that you vibe. There's something there.
There's
Get that tribe vibe going.
Yeah, but it helps, like, and you kind of find your voice quicker, and you kind
Yeah.
of find where you want to go. So I think that's important.
You get
to
comfortable.
Have. You get comfortable.
You got to be comfortable to perform
True,
well.
true,
You got to
true,
get in your
true,
own
true,
zone.
true,
Tribe
It's a
vibe, own
lonely-
zone.
A lonely journey if you don't have the right supporting cast around
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
And if you have those people around you that lift you up when those times are down, then guess what? You're going to have a hell of a lot of an easier time navigating this journey because there's no playbook for comedy. There's no
playbook for life.
live for life, right?
But, like,
And with comedy, it's like, comedy, it's like a job. It's like, we'll train you, we'll work your way up. Comedy, when you start out, it's here's the mic, let's go, and let's see what happens. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So,
One thing I'm wondering, so we all got to stretch out a little bit. We got to do some time. Jason did 20 minutes last night. Lina did 10. Lonnie got to pop in with different pieces throughout the night as he was hosting. Yeah, but you got to throw it in throughout the night and kind of just pick and choose your vibe. As the host, you set the vibe. Now, Vinny, you traveled from Canada to New York for 5 minutes. Holy shit. Was that pressure? Like, what did that
Yes.
feel like?
I should show you the text I sent my wife.
Yeah.
Because she dropped me off at the train station at 7 in the morning.
Yeah.
So I don't even live in Toronto. I just live outside of Toronto. So it took me 8.5 hours to get to New York City.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was just a lot of trains.
Starting first thing in the morning.
Planes, yeah. And then afterwards, you see the room is packed, and like everything is hanging on 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Just 5 minutes. And I
But
just...
you're not thinking that. You're going in like, let's have a fun time.
That's what
he's
I want
shitting
to
bricks.
think.
He's
That's what
shitting
I
bricks.
want to
Let's
think.
be real. He's shitting bricks. We've
Oh,
all been
oh,
shitting bricks.
oh, man.
I shit bricks. 5 minutes, man. Because to someone who doesn't do comedy, 5 minutes sounds like a long time. To someone who does comedy and traveled 8 hours, 9, 10 hours each way,
wow.
that's a glimpse.
And the money that you're spending, right? So if you bomb,
Yes.
it's like, whoa, what did I just do, right?
Did you do 5 that was your tightest 5?
I did my tightest 5, yes,
Okay.
and it went really well. I hit
Great.
everything. I got everything I wanted in there. I went to like 505, 507, I think, something like that. And
Perfect. No, yeah, but
Man.
no, you're 05, 07, you're there. That's
Yeah.
marginal. Good
Yeah,
for you.
so
but I'm
it was
glad you
great.
knew it to that extent.
And it was cool afterwards because people were coming out and they were trying to meet with me, take pictures with me.
There
I'm
you
like,
go. Hell yeah.
hi.
Sell merch?
Huh?
Do you sell merch?
No, I don't.
It's tough on 5. It's tough on 5 to sell. You know what I mean?
No, at home I do like.
People come up to you.
At home I'll do 30 to 40.
We should
we
all
shoulda-
start
we shoulda had merch
selling
last
merch.
night.
We
Ooh, can we
should
sell our
have
own
had
merch?
merch. We could have made an
we-
extra couple $100.
No,
No, they do.
people would have bought merch last
I
night.
need money.
And I thought,
Rules, so you're like, oh, just fine. He could have merch and sold like.
For those listening in, merch, it, obviously what it sounds like, merchandise. every comic. Well, no, because not everybody.
Swag.
No, listen.
Swag.
So what it is it's when a comic decides that they have some branding attached to their material. You've got some kind of a joke that may not be your every time joke, but it's going to be represented in your merch. You're going to have something that has your vibe on it, and it's something you sell at a table after the show to make a few extra bucks to offset the cost of the road and make this a living so you don't have to pour coffee, and write jokes. So it's a great step. None of us are quite there yet. It's time. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that shirt was merch. I know you wear a shirt with your branding on it.
Well, we do have.
Because Lonnie's ahead of the game. Lonnie is
Let's
setting the pace.
show it off. The Lonnie Dangerous T-shirt right there.
See, he's got Webster on his T-shirt, and
This is your dad. This is the real one. Your mom knows him.
It would make more
Your
sense.
mom knows this guy.
It would make more sense.
He's the one putting the jokes
he made
in.
fun of my
The
mom.
slut.
My mom is in a bag. My mom's ashes, so you can feel like shit. But listen, no. That's why she died, because because
We're going off the rails.
That
We
shit
are
ain't
going
with
off
your
the
dad. No, listen.
But I will say
It got
all
raw.
that
It got raw.
it's getting raw right now. But I will tell you, the commitment to comedy for Vinny to come in and do 5 minutes.
We just said
Commitment to
de-escalation.
comedy. I'm going to take that away for a second.
Bring it in,
I'm
guys.
bringing it in. I'm bringing it back.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
That commitment, man, that just shows you the dedication to the
man.
love of the craft and the insanity that we have in our minds to do this.
And let's hear about, so what is the intent? So a guy who travels this much to get 5 minutes, what are you looking to gain from that?
It's also the people at Gotham. It's also the bookers. So,
Right.
like I said, Stephen Rosenfield was there. Known as the New York Times best teacher in America, taught Jim Gaffigan. Pretty big deal.
Yeah.
And he came up to me after the show and he said, that was excellent. What did he say? He said, you are very, very good. That's what he said to me.
Wow.
And after that, I'm like,
man. That's
that
really
was worth
cool.
every hour on the plane, train.
Yeah.
It was worth it. It was totally worth it. I can live off that for the next month at least.
Of course.
I don't really care about the money. In
Sure.
fact, if anything, I think I'm losing quite a bit of money.
Yeah, sure. No, but that's why I ask, because this is all investment at this point. And so, you were at Gotham Comedy Club in New York City, one of the top names in the United States, in the world. And you got 5 minutes on a weekend.
Yes.
In front
Friday
of a
night
packed
show.
house,
Packed house.
standing room in the back.
Yeah.
And the booker came up to you and said you did a great job.
That was the head. He was a teacher, actually. He's yes, known as America's foremost teacher or whatever.
Sure.
And he's fantastic because he can actually help you with choosing the right words. It's incredible what he does. And the booker, Andrew, I met with him as well. He was also very nice, very kind. The way they run that place is fantastic. I was blown away by Gotham. I really was. I've been to the Comedy Store, but I never actually played at the Comedy Store. You guys have all played at the Comedy Store, right? So those are the two comedy clubs in America I want to play.
Well, and the Improv and the Laugh Factory are also in that,
Yes.
because where we live in LA, we
Improv.
call it the Big Three. We've got the Comedy
Hollywood.
Store and the Laugh Factory on Sunset, and then on Melrose you've got the Improv. Those are the big three. There are a couple others that
Flappers.
they're of note, and once you're local, anyway. But there are a lot. There are tons of other clubs that you can't wait to get time at, and you can't wait to get up. But just the ones that are sort of that you would list on your bio, the ones that you would use as credits to
Exactly.
be able to show,
And that's part of the reason why I did it. I want that on my bio. Like I have
course.
them. I have Zanies now. I got a couple.
Zanies is an awesome club.
In Chicago.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
And now in Montreal, I'll be going to Montreal later on this month, and there's a couple I want to be on there. The Just for Laughs program.
JFL.
The JFL,
man. That's
it's actually
huge.
it's pretty popular here. It's
It's a pinnacle.
like-
It's a pinnacle. That's a great picking ground. If you want to get picked up, if you can be featured on Just for Laughs.
Yes.
There are so many top name comics today over the years who have gotten their start from being a fresh face at Just for Laughs, and then because there are a lot of agents, there are a lot of managers, there are people who can see something in you and escalate your career from just that moment.
Yeah.
Now, from your 5, you recorded it.
Yep.
Okay. Do you plan on posting any of that material, or are you going to save?
That's
a tough call, right?
I know. I know what you're saying. Where you're going with this is, and I remember Lina saying this. You don't want to burn. What'd you say?
Well, we were having
burn.
why some people don't do that and why some
Yeah.
people do. And now that's like a conversation. Like some people don't want to burn their material beforehand, and some people don't care.
And when you say burn your material, what do you mean by that?
That's where you post it, and then people know they know the joke.
Right. Which
So it's
means that you don't want to perform that live anymore.
Well,
If
people
somebody
still do
pays
know,
to
but-
see
yeah,
you,
people still do, but
it's considered burning it, because now
Oh, the
you
definition,
shouldn't really be charging people to see that material live anymore. Arguably, some comics
Not
have
that
different
deep,
opinions.
but-
Well, no, that's the idea. But
But
some
then it's
comics,
also, some people say they want to showcase their stuff online because that's where you get the most eyes and stuff. So, I mean,
I
it's,
think
It's
it
a
depends on how
catch-22.
established you
It's all
are.
about, I think, how you position it. You know what I mean? And there's different ways. I get burning content, but at the same time, when you're newer and you're trying to grow, showcasing your talent is a huge aspect of all of it. And you know what?
Yeah.
There's other ways you can mix in content, but those short little clips, that helps build a sense of connection of who you are and why somebody should come see
Yes.
you. And it's those clips that when you're going out on the road and you're pitching who your ability, it's clubs like the Lou Room that we did last night that see that, and also when they see who you are and they see, oh wow, that person might have talent, right, a little bit, but they also find out that you can also bring at the same time.
that's the
It works for
thing.
the club. It works for you. It works.
Right.
It works for everybody, and that is the key ingredient: is making sure that there's a commonality between the clubs and the comedians at the same time. So, and when you find little clubs like this on the road, you know, you mentioned Zanies and we mentioned the Comedy Store and all that, but clubs like the Lou Room and other clubs in small towns, they're looking for talent that is. They don't need the biggest headliners in the world.
Right,
They
of
need
course.
they need people that they can count on to butts in the seats, but also can do a solid 20, can do a solid
You've
10,
got to
can do a
post some
solid
of that
50.
material because if the fear is that, well, I don't want to post this material because then people will have already seen it when they come to see me. Well, the problem is if you don't post any, no one's going to be coming to see you because no one will have heard of you, and there'll be no one in any seats.
it's a
to- you know what I mean?
double-edged sword. Because
That's it.
I've heard like comedians before it was a thing because this is fairly new of posting and social media, so this wasn't a thing. So you either want to do that, you want to have a strong social media presence, then you do it. If not, if you just want to go out there and get your name known in the clubs, then you can do it that way. There's no way.
Well,
there's no
all right. The thing with that
right
though
or wrong.
is that a lot of clubs book based on your social media numbers now. That's the thing. That's so if you're already known, like Lina's also an actress, so and you have some great acting credits. So if you're someone who has other credits that can support you being booked without having that social media influence, then sure, you know, you might be able to get in that way. But a lot of clubs now, and sometimes a lot of us comics get upset about it, there are clubs who will book you and then show your credit on the poster is just your number of TikTok followers. And you're like, that's all
I
you
haven't
put
seen
from,
that.
you know, but yeah, I've seen it. I know a guy who has 200,000.
But that's not a good comedian. That's what drives me nuts.
Well, it is a good comedian, but the club is not taking full advantage of how to make their selection process valuable.
That means that you've gotten a lot of followers, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily mean you're a good comedian.
Well, no. I'm saying in the cases that I've seen it, the comic had great credits additionally, but some clubs think that all that matters is your social media follow, which is scary because it's not the truth. Listen, if you have 200,000 TikTok followers, that's awesome. Some of them might be in Malaysia. They're not coming out to, you know, they're not going to be in Topeka, Kansas. They're not going to be there, you know, so it's not necessarily
Next show
a
will be
valid
Topeka,
formula.
Kansas.
Yeah, and which we'll all go to Topeka next week if you get us. If you want to see us, we'll be there.
I've always wanted to go to Topeka, Kansas.
Is Topeka in Kansas?
Ever since I was a little kid, I wanted to perform in Topeka, Kansas.
I'll buy a house in Topeka if you make me a resident.
Topeka, Kansas. We are ready for you to perform.
I did want to say one of the things I wanted to talk to you all about is social media because I don't do that stuff and I know it's killing me.
You gotta get into
and
it.
this summer, I promised myself I would start doing that.
Great.
I look at your followers. You guys are like in the thousands I've got like what, 2? I don't even know. I have no idea how many.
You'll
I got.
have 3 after this.
Okay, well
Yeah,
there you
this
go.
is
Topeka,
gonna boost. You'll have a 50% increase
My,
from
bro-
2.
my brother's gonna follow you right after the show.
Awesome.
Shout out to my brother, our producer today.
How do you
yeah.
guys
Thank you, Andrew. Woo.
help me? I'm an old man. Help me with this digital world. How do I get followers? What
Under
do
a
you guys
minute.
do? Yeah.
Under a minute.
Yeah.
And you gotta use captions, because did you know? I believe the number was around 73 to 83% of content viewed on social media
Have an OnlyFans account.
is watched without sound. It's because people don't always have their earbuds on them. People might be looking at something from their desk real quick. And I actually got that stat before wireless earbuds really blew up. But a few years ago, I think it was 83% of videos watched on people's phones are without sound. So if they can't see the words displayed on the screen to the joke and read along, they're not going to get it. They're going to keep scrolling.
Yeah, and
So
we
you've
also
gotta
have
use
the
captions.
attention span that
Of
of
a gnat.
of goldfish.
Of a
Less than
goldfish.
3 seconds. is
Yeah,
what
you gotta
got to
rope
really
'em in
grab.
quick.
It's
Rope
hook,
'em in
line,
as
and sinker.
quickly
You
as
know
you
what I mean?
can.
That's really.
Some of the best stuff that you'll be able to post is if it's in the middle of a set, because if you've already got the crowd laughing going into it and they have an awesome big jump of laughter up front, then that sells the listener. This guy's funny. He's doing, it's sort of that bandwagon effect. Well, everybody else is already laughing, so I should laugh too. I'm in. Where's he going?
I mean, Lonnie can talk a little bit about it too. He knows how.
I just want to create a hardcore following. If I get a nice small 1,000 people who really support me and we have a relationship, it can be more intimate. I think social media allows an artist to be more intimate with the people that follow him.
I like that.
And that's why I would share my content, because like you said, not everybody has enough money to go to the clubs, and not everybody has the opportunity to go out to Topeka, Kansas. So being able to share your material, if you're a comic who's really creating material constantly, it should not be a problem to do burning it. Or and if you don't want to burn it, there are a lot of successful comedians talk about they're afraid to put it online because people will steal it, or you can't use it in a public space. But you're an artist. Like if you did a song online, you would want to do that in the concert hall too. Like,
which is a great point.
Also with you guys, like if you have, I like a joke by each one of you, and I like that joke, but I only get to see it when you perform it. So I'd have to constantly see that joke when I come to your show. I'd like to hear it every now and then. And so until you guys come up with an album or a show, this is the closest thing to it. What do you think about that?
No, it's true. It's true. Can you not?
Comedy special, last night's show coming out soon.
Oh, Lou Room.
Yeah.
You're dropping that. When are you dropping that?
That's dropping soon. I'm gonna edit.
We've got we do. We last night, a little surprise. We had a really amazing videographer. Actually worked on the. I think you mentioned the Chris Rock. Union guy, special, and he shot our show last night, and we're gonna put it out, and it's gonna look awesome. Yeah, he shot a lot of behind the scenes footage of us. That also comes with the territory too. Like when you're on the road, and you're producing your own shows. It was my goal here when I brought us all together to do this, to make sure that we had every single thing done for us that would give us the most reach and appeal. So like that was, we're not just going up and just doing our sets and nobody else is going to see it. Like I made sure that we had the right angles, the right people
And he
shooting
did a
this
great
thing.
job. He did an amazing
Yeah.
job.
And thank you to my brother who's very connected here. In
Thank
Baltimore
both of the
to make that
Schusters
happen.
for bringing us down.
Phil Cherney.
And Phil Cherney,
helped make
who
the connection with the
great
club.
a great local manager here who books a lot of musicians, but actually spread
Now
his
he's gonna
wings
wanna
and
do
he's
comedy.
worked with
Now he's gonna
worked with
wanna
us to
expand.
get this all booked in Baltimore. So we hope to work with him more along,
Of course.
for more shows too. So
Runs Charm City Bluegrass Festival.
Yeah.
Let's get a comedy tent there next year. So I'm gonna
Comedy tent next year.
There we go.
Woohoo!
There we go.
and actually, and it worked out. And because I did the show here in Baltimore at the Lou Room, the Autobar runs a comedy show there.
They reached
and
out to
they
you,
reached
didn't
out
they?
to me, so I got another show there in July.
How cool is that?
And that kind of works out too when you're on the road. Things happen like that. Like
Yeah.
you might have a show and another thing pops up. Lina was in Miami, and she did a show and another thing popped up. You want to talk about that?
I think it's just good. I mean, we were talking about building relationships, like the group that we do on a bi-weekly basis is a relationship, and we pour back into each other by, showing up, being supportive, writing together, helping, just flesh out things. Just to wrap it up, relationships are just important in every business, but especially in this one, when this can be like a lonely thing to do. When you're on the road, especially too. But yeah, I wanted to jump into like the business aspects of it, because I don't think a lot of people talk about that, and just some of that behind the scenes with that.
The business side of comedy? Yeah, I mean, there's a whole side of things. I mean, we see so many people out in LA, and us too, where we're struggling to figure out and navigate like how to make money as a comedian. And that's a whole nother aspect of it, where your biggest focus is just to be a comedian and get stage time, but you also have to think about the future of what you're doing as a comedian and how that's going to create a future for you in this industry. And there's a whole another side of it that I think we are all kind of.
And we're going to walk you guys through that. That's part of what you're going to experience over the life of this podcast. You're going to watch us. We're sort of in that fledgling stage where we've crossed over. We're not doing mics. Like we do mics to work out, but we are at that point where we're just starting to do the road. We're starting to make a couple bucks in comedy, and we're figuring it out, but we do not know all of how it works yet. None of us are full-time comics. We haven't quit our jobs and do nothing else. So we're going to walk you through that because we're very curious. We have the ambition to figure that out. And then for you guys at home, hopefully you can save a week for something down, reduce it down to 1 hour. Some it took us a month to learn. Some it took us 5, 6, 7 months to learn. You can learn in 20 minutes from following along, and we're going to help the entire industry. I hope that's our plan. After us, we're going to make money, and then you can find out how we did it. Like to be clear, but. But this is something that we're looking to uncover because it's a very mysterious business. If you want to be a doctor, you want to be a lawyer, then you go to school, you get good grades, and when you graduate, you're a doctor or you're a lawyer. That's real. You want to be a comedian, how do you do it? Who knows? No one knows. How the hell do you... people always want to ask, what made you become a comedian? Trauma.
That's right.
Shit went down. Life was impossible. And I found some ways to deal with it through laughter. And next thing you know, I'm outside wondering how to make money doing this. So we're gonna uncover the mystery a little bit.
One of the things I did want to mention was producing. So the first 4 years I didn't produce anything, but I had to start making money at this.
Yeah.
So now I spend the majority of my time producing shows.
Good
and I've
for
got
you.
5 different shows back in Toronto. And
Five shows?
5 different shows.
Nice. Yeah. Regularly.
Yeah,
These
regularly.
are ongoing shows.
These are ongoing. I got Multicultural Madness because in Toronto we're a very multicultural city. I've got a parenting show. It's called My Kids Are Mean to Me. I've got competitions and stuff like that. And I got all these different shows, and they actually help bring in some money, usually. Sometimes you don't get a crowd. But I've had to learn how to produce in order to make some sort of a living. But also through producing, I've made all my connections because I'm not a networking kind of guy.
Yeah.
But through producing, what I'm doing is exchanging spots. So all the stuff I got in Montreal that I'm going to be doing later on are from people that did my shows back in Toronto. So we're exchanging spots. And I did that with a couple of people in New York as well. So that's how we all sort of connect. You create that web. But production is huge. If you want to take that next step, at least for me, I needed to produce.
I'll agree with you on that. And I think it's fantastic that you're at a place where you're charging for your shows and you're bringing in some supplemental income. One thing that I've also ran a few shows in Boston with some buddies, and we weren't charging. They were free shows. But what we did was we just decided we wanted stage time. Stage time is the hardest thing to get in comedy when you're starting out. So a couple of us went around to bars during the day when it's quiet in the afternoon around like 2:30, 3 o'clock, 3:30 when they're in between lunch and dinner. And we just kind of poked around looking to see if they had a back room. You want a back room. It's really hard to run a comedy show in a room with the rest of the bar. You're competing with the sound of the people who aren't there for the show. But if you can find a venue that has a back room and they have a night of the month where they're not making any money with that room, and they're willing to either give you just an employee for a bartender, or maybe they'll throw you $100 or $200 so you can start to book some real talent for your headliner. That's how you begin to produce. That's a great way to start at a grassroots, and then eventually get up to the point, like you're saying. What's the most you've ever charged for a ticket to one of your shows?
$30.
$30.
But that's $30 Canadian, so it's like, what,
$11.
American.
Yeah. It's a quarter. No, but $30. No, because at the Improv in Hollywood, you can pay $35 if you watch the calendar and you time it right. I've seen Louis C.K. do a full hour at the Improv for $35. Wow. So you're not far off from world-class talent. You're really putting together solid shows.
Oh, the show, like, one of the shows I do is Canada's Comedy All-Stars. So those are only headliners, national touring headliners. And what I do is instead of paying them for an hour, I pay 3 separate headliners to do 20 minutes each.
Love it.
And then I just host the show. And they are all top-notch. They've been on television. They've got way too many credits to their names. And so that show actually helps bring in a lot of money. It's a 120-seat venue. But what you were saying before, I started that way, going through bars.
Yeah.
I found it very difficult. It was tough for me to get all of the equipment and all that stuff. And you're competing with the televisions and the sports in the background. And the people sometimes are there and they don't really want to watch comedy.
You got to get that
I've been
separate
going to comedy.
room.
Yeah, I've been going to comedy venues.
Yeah.
They have everything set up. You just pay a rental fee.
Right.
You know, they'll give you the tickets, or maybe they might take a little off the top. And then there you go.
So now you're getting into actual out-of-pocket investment. That's where it gets a little scary, but your guts are on the line. So how much would you say it costs you to pay the club to get the space on a given night? Ballpark.
Let's just say about $100.
You can get a club in Canada.
Comedy bar, one of the top-notch comedy places. We got SoCap Comedy, we've got Second City, we've got quite a few.
For $100.
But then they'll also take, like, let's say for every $10 on a ticket, they'll take off 3 for themselves.
So 30%, 70-30 split, which is not uncommon.
But they keep all the money from the bar for themselves as well.
Yep.
And some comedy clubs won't actually sell the tickets for you, so you have to go to a third party like Eventbrite.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have that here in America. Do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is it a Canadian?
No,
I don't know.
they are the
Stop making
industry
fun of-
leader.
Okay.
No, they're the industry leader.
Do you guys have Target in Canada?
Oh,
We
my
did.
God.
It didn't do well.
Oh,
They went out of
okay,
business.
Yeah, no one's gonna have Target pretty soon the way they're going. But so hold on. So you're saying your investment here, your risk up front is you put up $100 out of your pocket, and from here you're now down $100. If nobody shows up, this isn't a promoted show. No one brings anybody. You lose $100 and it's an empty room.
Not true. It's about $500 because no matter what, I have this one unwritten rule. Is that I always have to pay comics, no matter what.
Wow.
I always pay them.
Wow.
In Canada, we do not do well supporting our artists. We don't. America's much better at that.
That's the same
In
thing.
Canada, you are working for free, and I've had enough of that. So I take $500 of my own money, and I put it out there. For example, I have one called Vinny's Clash for Cash, where the comedians are competing for $200. At the end of the year, they're competing for $500. This is monthly. So
That
they're
is so
always
cool.
going home with money. So the winner gets $100, next two get $50 each. But they're always getting paid no matter what. And usually I don't charge, like, it depends on the turnout, but usually it's about $3 to $5 per minute. That's what I'm usually giving them, which may not be a lot. Hosts get a lot more, and headliners get a lot more. And I do advertise, but I only advertise through free means, right? For the most part, depending on the show.
Tell us about that. Free advertising is everyone's
So
perk. Let's listen
Reddit,
in on that.
Reddit is free.
Okay.
We have something called Now Magazine in Toronto, which is like one of our main magazines, the Nightlife. So I pay for that. That's free. Eventbrite, I might actually boost the tickets as well. That costs like $25.
Okay. So, and with the Eventbrite, do you include the Eventbrite charge in your total price? So if the ticket's $20,
I
you
do.
cover
People
the
like
Eventbrite,
a nice,
or you
people
let
like
that-
a nice round number.
They do.
$10. I'm not going to put $11.84 on my promo.
Sure.
And I pay my graphic designers as well.
Okay.
I think promo is extremely important.
Sure, of course. But on Eventbrite, you can pay an extra $25, and Eventbrite will boost your show, meaning
I
like
get it.
they'll
But that's
help
just for
to,
one day. It's like $24 a day. But I find that the majority of the clientele you're going to get is going to happen from that very day, within 24 hours of the show.
from that very day.
Yeah.
From the venue, or from Eventbrite, or from social. What do you mean? Within.
So once you, this is actually boosting a post on social media. This is the only thing I know about social media.
Yeah.
Is so you put up like an Instagram post, and then afterwards, if you want to boost it, you can actually set up your target audience.
Yeah, you know about that.
Yeah.
And it costs like $25, and it hits like a whole bunch of these different people that are in your target audience.
Sure.
So for me, it'd be 25 plus, a little bit older crowd, usually parents, stuff like that.
Sure.
So yeah, and it does work.
And when you say boost, do you boost the poster as a picture, or do you boost a video?
No, I both. I don't have any videos. I should.
Okay.
But I never have time to do that. But yeah, I usually just post the picture.
Okay.
And then you have the QR code there on the ads, so people can just scan them immediately, buy tickets. And I put up posters in the neighborhood as well. I still do that.
Look at you. That's
Yeah.
grassroots, man. That's getting out there.
Yeah.
Now, no, just before we get off the social media, so you spend $25 24 hours before the show. What can that yield in tickets? What are we talking about? 2 or 3?
I haven't
10 or
always looked at
12?
the metrics. They give you the data and
Yeah.
everything, and I can tell that I'm getting like 1,600 clicks or something.
Yeah.
So I can see that it's sort of working.
But does that convert to like 10 tickets to
I don't
20
know.
tickets?
You don't know. You can't.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I just
You
feel
gotta
like,
know
I
this
just
stuff,
feel-
man, because you're
I know.
pioneering into an area we haven't done yet, and I love numbers. I love analytics.
I know.
love to know
I just feel like
ROI.
if I'm spending $500, I got to do something. I don't really know.
Yeah.
I'm not an expert at this. I'm doing this only so I can get stage time. So
course.
a lot of times, like at the
It's
beginning,
very emotional for you. You're not like driven by like the money.
No, I don't care about that. No. No.
But you're also a
I love
school
that he
teacher.
talks about that too because you can tell there's a passion behind it.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
You're talking about it.
Do you consider yourself now more of a producer or more of a comic?
Producing takes up so much time that I never have time to practice comedy, and that sucks. But I also know without producing, at least where I live, I'm not going to get too much stage time. So you have to put in all that time. Plus, I got a full-time job. Plus, I got 3 kids. Plus, a wife. I mean,
Oh my God, Vinny! Oh
Give
my
it up
Vinny.
for
But
Vinny Vinelli, ladies
I
and
will
gentlemen.
never give up on comedy. I will not give up on. Hey, what do you produce a lot of shows too, don't you? Yeah, you do.
I did a couple, but I like to just go in and just do my stuff
You
and leave.
Okay, he's like a sniper.
I just like to do my shows. I don't like to be responsible for other people, and I hate like trying to get everybody to do on the same page. Everybody wants to do their own thing. There's divas, there's rock stars. I just like to get in, do my stuff, and then get out. But if you want to make money and control your destiny, it's probably wise to produce your own shows, get your friends together. There's so many of my mentors telling me that the thing is that you need to start producing shows.
Yeah.
Get your friends together and start getting a room and just start putting them together. And at least you'll have money in your pocket. So
Did you find it that as Vinny was just saying, it sounds like time-wise, something's going to have to suffer.
right. And I'm so focused on working on being a bet, and that's just me personally, because you can just be good and be a successful comedian. I mean,
Right,
there's
right.
a lot of comedians that aren't that great, but they're really getting paid, so that's what they want to focus on.
Yeah.
So whatever is important to you, I personally want to be great at the art form.
Yeah.
So I'm spending a lot of time more in the trenches, working on my chops, observing comics like you and Lina and
Yeah. You're a great
Jason.
observer.
Well,
You actually no. You give great feedback.
I'm
in
a
addition to
student.
being an artist yourself, but I'm saying you also have a good eye to pick up.
You know, I grew up, I was a big fan of all the legend comedians, watching them constantly. So when I came here, I was so intimidated because I loved the art form that
Yeah.
I didn't think that I was worthy enough to do such a great thing.
It's a bold step.
Right. So when I got to meet all these people and my peers, it was so fascinating because everyone comes with their own voice and their own style. So I'm getting to learn. You learn more tools. Like if you go to a karate class and there's like 30 masters, so you learn
Yeah.
it from everyone. So I've learned stuff from you. I've learned stuff from Lina. I learned stuff from Jason, and especially from Vinny. And I think that you're all amazing, talented artists, and I'm just appreciative to be in the presence of greatness.
Oh, back at you, buddy. That's very kind of you.
Back at you.
It can be hard in the community of comedy because the stage time is so limited. Sometimes it feels very cutthroat. It actually can be. So it's nice when you can actually connect with some people and be friendly and enjoy each other's crafts and talents and be able to vocalize and say that. It makes you feel a little less alone.
There's a lot of bitterness in the comic game. There's a lot of people that are sitting around and upset that you're moving up the ladder or they're not getting the same thing you get. So when you get people that support you and stand by you, it's like a blessing. Plus, it's like water in the desert. Like, I never get this. So it's...
Liquid death water. You guys, is that a good spot to cut it for today? Is that enough content to fill these guys' minds?
Yeah.
Guys, We're excited to have you along board for episode number 1. Hopefully you've made it this far in, and you can click the QR code for no free death water. And but you can get a free episode number 2. Join us again on Comedy Road. We'll see you soon.
Comedy Road. Comedy Road.
Liquid death. Mountain water. This infinitely recyclable can of stone cold mountain water clawed itself from deep inside the earth to murder your thirst.
Don't do it.
Whoa! Liquid death.
Don't
Did you hear the sound of that opening? I thought